dalo no makanunu gane sonyela anye. Now, good morning, Coalcity. No, it's a spotlight. It's a special edition of what we're doing right now because we have a team from the Center for Memories, and yes, we have a guest that flew in to be with us on this show. So if I say it's a special edition, yes, it is really. And knowing quite well that someone right here on the set will be miffed, but I had to start with the ladies. And a guest, really, Maria Ellendorf. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Did you hear that? It's certainly different from the voices you've been listening to on this station. She's the Deputy Curator, African Collections, Ethnological Museum of Berlin. Berlin is in Europe.
That's right.
So she is going to talk to us about telling you how to preserve your own culture. Okay? Thank you for listening. I also have another guest here. I don't know if I leave out someone else, if he's going to get off this set, but I don't have a choice. I have a lady, really. She is Ifnanya Madufo. Ifnanya is the Curator, Center for Memories. Ifnanya, thanks for joining us. Ifani Iboko, Director, Center for Memories, is here. Ifani, good morning.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Ihan is not Central Igbo.
Ihan is Central Igbo. Ihan is dialectical.
Okay, so did you tell me your name yourself now, or did you not?
I know you were up to some mischief, but
it's a pleasure having them looking all good this Monday morning. I know they have stuff to do, but we are actually looking at how the Center for Memories is helping to uphold Igbo cultural heritage. This morning specifically, we are going to look at folklore. And so I don't know if there are memories already at the center, Ifnanya, that will... okay, so why is Ifnanya not Ihunanya?
Yeah, but really, if it was Ihunanya, it would be Central Igbo. Like you said, yeah, Ihunanya is a bit different. Yeah. But Ihunanya is the real deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so do we have some stuff at the Center for Memories that still reminds us of who we are?
Yes. So we have an exhibition, the Ordinary exhibition, and although it's we do not have a lot of collections and material culture or artifacts, but we do have some collections of photographs of pre-colonial Igbo societies and their activities, especially regarding their spiritual life and maybe religious life too, the way they worship their God, who they wake up in the morning and say prayers to, the ancestral knowledge, a bit of that. We have documentations or documents on this, and we got this from a research team at the SOAS University of London. They call themselves the Entanglement, and so they have a lot of collections and even material, tangible objects and tangible resources on the lived experiences of Igbo people, pre-colonial Igbo society. And I'm talking about maybe like a period between 1914 and 1919, before we were actively colonized. Yeah. So yeah, at Center for Memories, you find this.
All of this that you mentioned, is it actually needful that we as a people need to constantly remind of ourselves of who we are? Is it necessary? I mean, I was born Igbo. I grew up speaking Igbo. I bear an Igbo name and Igbo surname. Do I need other reminders as to who I
am? The thing is that a lot of people don't even know what their names mean and their surnames, what they mean. So, do you know where you come from? where you come from. Do you know what this place represents? In the past, communities used to have a particular thing they are known for. So maybe like the people in the area are mostly known for ordaining priests, traditional priests, or people we call Dibia. So from where I come from, we are notable for orthopedic practices and all that. So these things are not everyday knowledge. But if you go back to maybe like find out exactly who you are, where you come from, the things that your ancestors were notable for, I think it's like a good start to it. Some people go into practices they are not really good at, and year to year they keep running around. But I mean, like, it's a well-known thing that each place has a notable thing they are known for, each family, each community, each clan. So yeah, to know who you are is very important. It's also very relevant both to your destiny, to your purpose, collective purpose in the human race. That's just that.
All right, I am with you now, Maria. What actually do you do in the African Collections Ethnological Museum?
Very
You're
good
not
question.
African.
I'm not. I'm not.
Obviously. So
Very
what
obvious.
do you do? What's your business with our culture?
All right. So the Ethnological Museum comprises, and the Museum of Asian Art. They belong together. They comprise a collection of about 500,000 objects, and about 75,000 of those come from Western Africa. And so I'm the deputy curator of the West African department and in charge of the collections. And obviously, I cannot be, neither can my colleagues be experts on every single one of these objects. So I see myself and the role of curators more as facilitators, basically, to bring people together and have sustainable long-term relationships with individuals and also with other institutions. And that's also why I'm here today, to work with the Center for Memories and to work with Ifunanya, whom I've met almost a year ago, through a program called the Museums Lab, which brings together scholars and artists from Africa and Europe to work together, and it's basically an exchange program. So the African scholars come to Europe and the European scholars come to Africa to learn from each other, and there is a whole program around that. But Ifunanya was a fellow at our institution, and so
There
she's
in Berlin?
in Berlin,
Oh.
exactly, in Germany. And she started to investigate the Igbo collections that we have, which is comparably quite small. It's about 36, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's about 36 items of cultural heritage, right? Yeah. And so we,
Excluding the masquerade.
yeah. And at the Ethnological Museum, we have now a project called the Collaborative Museum, and one part of that Collaborative Museum is inviting fellows from all over the world. And so we invited Ifunanya for a 2-month fellowship to continue her research. And I think that's mostly what curators nowadays are supposed to do. It's keeping relationships up.
Okay. All right, I'll get back to you on some of the things you mentioned. But before then, there's a gentleman in our midst, even when he is not really in our midst. So look at that. Yeah, I bet stop feeling that way. Okay, I'm getting to Akukonewu now. There's something ongoing at the Center for Memories. There's something you're doing, and I don't know if Akukonewu happened yesterday or if it's going to happen today. But this it's folklore. I need you to open our eyes to really what Akukonewu is about.
So I'll go back to the question you asked, Ifunanya, whether it's important to, for us as a people to interrogate our existence and how much relevance it has in today's world. I mean, that's actually the mission of Upholding the Igbo, because if you want to know about the people, you listen to their folklores, their music, what they wear, what they eat, I mean, objects, that they have around them. So all of this speaks, it goes a long way to tell you who these people are, what they've been through, what they're interested in. That's what we want to do with Akukoni. We want to create an event or a gathering where people come together to celebrate their Igbo-ness. And in celebration, we bring people who have unique skills, or people. Not everybody can play the Oja, for instance. Not everybody can play Obaka. Not everybody can tell stories. And in those stories, when they share it, you begin to learn a lot of things that you never knew. When we told the story for Jadede, for instance, you will now get to understand how the traditional Igbo society, what it looked like, what they valued, and we can bring it to today and say, what do we value as a people in today's world? Because part of our mission and practice at the center is to do things makonya ta and ichi. So this always guides us for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So Akụkọ Na-Egwu, falls in line with that, with that mission. So if we look back at yesterday, we can see things that we can bring forward to today and things that are already happening today, and we can use all of this to project tomorrow for Ndị Igbo. So I think Akụkọ Na-Egwu is here to, let all of us, celebrate our Igbo-ness, know what, some of the things we do not know about ourselves, and then see where we take that to that knowledge and what we can do with it.
That concept, Akụkọ Na-Egwu, you didn't hear me call it out earlier. Akụkọ Na-Egwu. I thought so. The way you're sounding it means entirely.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the moonlight, Egwu, like, so usually in the villages, Odona Bani at night, everybody gathers in the community center, when the moonlight, shows up, and then we regale ourselves with stories, tell stories about, our victories in the past, what makes our individual communities unique, and that's where they pass the values that they want each child, from the certain village to go with. I'm from Arachuku, they will tell you how the arrow has been so great, what they've done in the past, how nobody can defeat them, and how you should, go on with this mindset in today's world. So when you go out there, you're proud of your Arachuku-ness, and then you tell your people that you're from Arachuku, and beyond telling people where you come from, nobody exists outside of their communities. Everybody wants to do something that will bring pride to their community, and that's the essence of the Akụkọ Na-Egwu. Bring out that which your community is known for, bring it into the wider Igbo society, and let's see what we can learn from your community.
So it's actually Akụkọ Na-Egwu.
It comes to the dance.
Literal translation.
Storytelling and dance. Yeah, right.
Okay,
so through these forms, we express our uniqueness. So through this, it
can also be playfulness. Yes, and any activity that involves people gathering to tell stories. It's also like a very playful thing. Although like the stories are told to be serious, serious events that happened, or maybe like fiction. But then again, it's a very smooth ambient and playful too. So Akụkọ Na-Egwu is not just dance, but playfulness, relaxation, and all that.
All right, I'm still with these guests on the show who are taking us through upholding the Igbo cultural heritage through folklore, and we'll return to folklore and the activities you have this time around. But Maria, do you have a particular interest in Igbo culture, or is it just Africa in its entirety?
Well, I think I've learned a lot from Ifunanya when she was with us the first time. That's also the reason why we've invited her again, because as I've learned that storytelling is part of the Igbo nature, and Ifunanya really mastered that, so she really got me interested in Igbo culture. Although I must say I'm not an expert, my field of expertise was always the museum as an institution, and the African collections as part of the institution. But as I said before, I don't think that curators necessarily have to be experts on
Okay, Ihanye, in all of this, I mean, you sat in, and that yesterday wasn't your first time of organizing something like that, or even listening to a collection of akukoni. Is there a particular story that you can see as relating to today's world? Akukoni, I didn't say story. I didn't mean story.
Should I start telling the stories then?
Not in full. You know how you can summarize it and make it make sense.
I mean, there are a couple of stories. You know, we get this all the time when perhaps people see us, you know, engage little children, you know, with they always say, why not teach them science? Why not teach them maths? Why not teach them this? And I shudder. I do that because people do not yet see how culture, how the knowledge of it drives development. You can't develop beyond what you know. So, and if our ancestors had this, you know, knowledge stored in different, you know, objects and different stories, we need to, as a matter of urgency, you know, unravel those mysteries, those knowledge, and see where it will take. For us, that is our primacy. That's what we need to do before we do other things. While other people can, you know, get busy with other things that they are doing, for us as an institution, we have taken up this responsibility to ensure that we are able to decode, you know, most of the messages encoded in all of the objects, in all of the stories, and we do that we share that with the children because it kind of opens up their mind to understand the environment around them. For instance, you're teaching sustainable development, sustainable development, for instance, you enable them to realize, you know, what our ancestors did in the way they built their houses, in the way they went on with their business, right? So they will glean from that and see how to, you know, to integrate, you know, all of those, you know, systems that they used in the past in today's world. So people look at architecture, for instance. We've lost a lot. I was telling somebody the other day that look at the painting, the paint on our walls. You know, it's not made for our weathers; they're made for European weathers. And it's because people did not understand what our, you know, ancestors did, how they ensure cooling in their own house, and that's why people would go, you know, travel a lot of miles to import paint, import roofing sheets, whereas your ancestors had a way to do it, you know, and it was sustainable. It was very close. They used resources closer to them. They didn't have to go far. Everything you need to survive is all around you. And we haven't been, look at today's world, we haven't been able to solve our problems, our basic problems, because we look for solutions elsewhere. We haven't, you know, stopped to take a look around us and see what do we have around us that can help us solve our problems. And people don't see how culture, you know, comes in all of this. So when you look at your culture, how you did some of the things you did in the past, and look at today, you should be able to count, you know, the next step, you know, from where you were before. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. You should be able to get some lessons from how you lived in the past to be able to provide or solve today's problem for, you know, for yourself.
Isn't there also that proverb that, I don't know, I think you told me about, if you don't know where you're coming from, you
Exactly.
See, Maria reminded me.
And to just add a bit to what because you mentioned now people talking about not learning sciences, but then we also have like our own indigenous science and technology. Like I'll just take for there is what's the I mean most of the artificial intelligence programs we use now are developed through what you call machine learning or deep learning, you understand. But then again, we also have this thing. So if you also delve deep into the science of definition, what we call a WAFA, this is also like what it is, you understand. It was not developed because we stopped using it. But then I know that there are people, you know, some people actively still using this, and it's still they can be able to predict, the way you can go on Google and Google knows already what you understand. So these things are also still happening, but we do not know these things because we've moved away from them, and of course they're in the past years people haven't been practicing, people haven't been learning, you understand, so there's that gap there. But of course it's all there. We had all these things, right?
Now talking about sciences, I'm going to return to music, but it's just like sound dead. Like when Ihani was talking about architecture, it was an eye opener. It's something that we really need to, look into and expand on, escalate if need be. Like whatever you need as a people is right there in your environment. Behind for now, January, February, the kind of heat wave. I'm not sure in my adult life I've experienced anything like that, and it borders around the kind of structure we erect. Because I'm going on a tropical zone. Now I gonna as against those who are in European states where they have snow. And now we have recourse to air condition and all to get our own ventilation and make sure that the inside of our houses are chilled. But the sciences now, she talked about the sciences of a divination. But certainly there are other practical sciences that Ndi Igbo can begin to look inwards to improve upon and make the most of it, as against learning what other cultures taught us.
Make no mistakes about it. Nobody grows in isolation. We must always depend on. No culture grew, solely with the knowledge of what he has. You have to look elsewhere to see what other people have as well. Like if I mentioned, the binary system, Ibafa is just based on binary system.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's true what the algorithm you see on
the algorithm, everything you used today is developed. Through the binary
I don't
system.
believe that now. You come on.
No, you don't have to. You don't. Mario, remember when we were in Abuja, I asked you whether you noticed any difference from the structures in Benin and what we saw in Abuja. So when you go to the north, nobody needs to tell you that you're in the north. If in my life, from the architecture, everything tells you. They've maintained it over the years.
True.
What have we done with ours? I was telling you about the Njepu spirit of Ndibo. We
adventurous.
We're adventurous. We would love to travel. But the disadvantage with that is that most times when we travel, we tend to keep ours, and integrate everything we've seen anywhere we go to. But these other cultures, they travel with their language, they stay with it. They travel with their dressing, they stay with it. They travel with their food, they stay with it. It's the Igbo person that will come back and say, shawarma is the sweetest food in the world, and you forget and the food, ABC. They tend to do that most of the time. They come and say, there's this structure I saw in Berlin. I think I want to, destroy the one I have in my father's compound and erect it. It's the Igbo person. Nobody is saying don't integrate what you saw, but also see the need to keep yours, because what you have in there could, open you up to a lot of things you never knew existed. But in Abia State, when the state government wanted to divide, create new states, we protested. Leave all of us together in one state. Rather add other people to the local government so we can remain, one local government. So look at Nekede, for instance. They are the same people. So the Igbos are not stupid. It's only us who do not see
the recent Igbos.
We don't think. The Igbos are known for their ability to think, ability to plan. We had all of these things, but the way the recent generation is taking all of these things, because they don't ask a lot of questions, and perhaps because it's not documented in formats that people may readily understand. Yesterday we had this conversation, how some of the things that in Siberi, in Uli, in the objects, for instance, Ikenga, for instance, tells you a lot of stories. Like the Jele masquerade, it tells you a lot of stories. Jele saw the future. Everything you need to know is in the Jele masquerade. But if you can't
If I
decode,
hope your research is not anywhere around masquerades. I mean, you're female.
Why?
is that academic
That's
engagement?
what
Is that
you were
is
told.
that is that
You
academic
would have
engagement?
said that if I didn't say.
No, I won't say that when it comes to academics.
There's any
Yeah.
restriction, yeah. Even
Yeah.
when, because I've traveled also to parts of Anambra State when I was making a documentary to ask questions. But there are some masks that wouldn't, you wouldn't be allowed to learn. But most of the ones that we know, it's you can learn about.
Anyone can learn about.
Yeah. But as a female, it's some
There's
are restricted to
restrictions.
you. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not like if you can't also, but they're laid down like rules if you want to actually.
That's
But
right,
it depends on you whether you want to
Get into that realm.
Yeah, and
That's what you?
A realm. Well, I'm not interested.
You see,
Thank you.
that's the problem. You should
It's
be
not. It's
interested.
not a problem, really. I don't have to be interested in everything. It's not a problem. if I would just learn it at the face of it, thank you very much. Don't mention.
we mystify a lot of things, and that's how to add value to stuff. Yeah. So anything without the mystery value will not, people will not regard it. Yeah.
True.
That's what I think.
Just that?
Yes.
yeah.
I mean.
Plus, for the knowledge, so it doesn't get into wrong
hands.
hands. Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of things are also not open. Yeah.
All right. In curating these memories, which your center is championing, really, do you still face challenges after all these years?
Why not? There are multiple challenges, and travel around the world. You see how museums run, right? So government is hugely involved, but that's not our case. Yeah, the government does not even send us. They don't send us. They know they see us, and because they don't understand how this all ties up to the entire spectrum of development. Because if they do, I think one of the things that they would have done is to find ways to ensure that the center and other similar centers are sustained. That's one. Second thing is openness, right? So the work we do, for me, we are very open. We go into places some people, we are not we are not believe we go into, because sometimes people come into the center and say, do you people teach this thing to children? Please. No, I don't teach it to my children. So because of what they've been taught, how, in fact, most times when we tell somebody about it, going to they're sure that if you were Benin and they talked about the issue in Benin, and all of them are similar. When you look at the African story, it may be different names, but everything is just one and the same.
Yeah, true.
Everything is one and
Both
the
in the
same.
north and so
Yoruba,
I was at Bagi. Bagi is in the area in Kaduna Jails, and I also went to look for answers, in their own cosmology, spirituality, and it's all the same thing. I mean, they also have ancestral venerations. They have symbols, but they don't went to Edo. They also showed us, and we also have what we call Obosi for ancestors too. I mean, it's all the same thing, but different names for them. Understand? Yeah.
All right. In conclusion, at this point, the outing you organized for the Akoko Neogu and exhibition of the artifacts.
It's an Igbo cultural experience. An evening of Igbo cultural experience.
So, what do you intend to achieve with that?
So basically, quickly, the first thing was to welcome back Ifunanya, who has been on a long sojourn of learning and preparing ourselves for how she's going to use the knowledge that she got from her trips to the development of the work that we do. And the second part of that program was also to welcome Maria. So she gets to experience the Igbo culture in all its fullness. But again, we couldn't get to achieve that. And then the third part of it is something we want to continue doing. So we feel like every Sunday evening we could get people at the center, we sit down, we have panga, we eat abacha, we tell ourselves stories, and then we have conversations. So this is something we're going to do every last Saturday of the month. And that's Sunday of the month.
And we don't have to pay to attend.
No,
We
you
don't pay for anything.
The center
You
don't pay
we
for
don't
anything.
charge for
We don't
anything.
charge for
It's
anything.
always
Yeah,
free.
so-
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for knowing. Maria, Do you wish to leave us with parting words? I mean, Indian Ugu.
Oh boy, I'm not the born storyteller here. I think I should leave that to my Igbo colleagues over here.
Say something. Let's go
No,
ahead.
thank you very much for having us. I think it's very important work that Ifunanya and Iani are doing at the centre, and I'm hoping that we will continue working together in the future.
Yes. All right. If not, what would you say as you leave?
I would say, I do not know.
If Nanya swore
Okay. So while there, no, so what for achọrọ m ka ndị nọ n'ụlọ ndị nne na nna ka ha bido kụzibere ụmụ ha ma ndịgide ndụ elu mgbe ebighị ebi ha ka ga-emeta nwe mgbe ha ga-ahapụ ụwa, but ọ bụrụ na ha hapụ ha gwara ụmụ ha ma ọ bụ ịmago ndị nke na-abịa, ndị ụmụazị na-abịa maka omenala, maka ọdịnala Igbo, a emecha nwe like ebe 20 years to come, nwere onye ọzọ ga-amazi. So ọ dị mma ka ha waba ụmụ ha okwu, ọ bụgodị na ha ma ngwara ha ịmago ihe niile, mana ntakịrị kwatụkwanụ ha akụkọ ifo, because enwere a lot of knowledge systems site na akụkọ ifo anyị na-amara maka ya, tụọrọ ha ilu. Ọ dị mma, eventually.
Okay. In 30 seconds, so I just have to tell you your duration. 30 seconds.
Taa bụ mgbe eji tete n'ụtụtụ ya, anyị ararụgwa n'ụra, anyị kwesịrị itete maka na ihe onye ma ka oge eji emepụta ife. Ọ bụ na ị mara, ụfọdụ na-adị ihe niile bụ n'oyibo, ihe na-agwụrụ n'oyibo, sụwa Igbo, ihe niile ha ga-amụta n'asụsụ Igbo.
No, n'omenala, n'ọdịnala Igbo.
Mgbe ị mụtara asụsụ Igbo, omenala ya dị, ị ga-amụta asụsụ Igbo.
Okay, upholding the Igbo cultural heritage through folklore is our focus on Spotlight today, a special edition of our interactive session. And I have the privilege of hosting Ehani Ibuko, Director, Center for Memories. And Ifnanya was also Ifnanya Madufo, Curator, Center for Memories. And a guest all the way from Berlin, Germany, Maria Ellendorf. Don't worry, when you get to Germany, I also bear a German name. I'll tell you about that. She is the Deputy Director, African Collections, Ethnological Museum of Berlin. I can enjoy our culture. I guess we preserve our culture. But let me leave them off the hook today. Tomorrow is another day. Alright, thank you, dear listeners. Now we're rising from this conversation right now to make way for our midday news at noon. My name is Ngozika Mba. Good morning. Thank you for being there.